Hey, Ronin Man here. All right, so today we're going to talk about something very, very important to, I would say, all guys. And this is the real reason women cheat and how you should respond, right? I've actually, this is something that I've thought about, for just decades, just wondering, like, I know some guys get cheated on a lot. And when I say cheat, I mean, obviously there is the, intercourse, that's cheating, right? But there's also what I consider just as important is when the light in the woman's eyes goes out, so she's not feeling it anymore, right? I think so. I guess that could be the subtitle of this one is like why women cheat. But the reason is that that light goes out in her eyes, right? And in her eyes, it's kind of over. But what's funny about women is they still stay with you even though that's the case, right? And then they'll cheat and kind of blame it on you, for not keeping the light in their eyes.
Seriously?
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's go over some of the reasons that if you ask women why they cheat, it's been statistically, I don't know if you could say proven, but they've done a lot of studies that actually say that women cheat more than men.
Really?
Yeah. So really, it's no joke. I mean,
Wow.
women do cheat, and definitely, I would say if you look at most relationships, they're basically over as far as the women are concerned. There's no light in their eyes for the guy anymore.
Most?
I would say most. Definitely,
Every-
definitely most.
Wow.
You could have married or even still single, just dating. So hear me out. See what you think about this. Okay, I'm going to say women. If you ask women why they cheat, they're going to say a few things. The one thing they're going to say, they feel neglected, right? They're going to say they feel bored. They're bored of the relationship. They're looking for some excitement, right? And they might say something like, some women will say something like, he doesn't give me little things like he used to, presents. And obviously gold diggers, they want something expensive. But it's sometimes it doesn't matter if it's expensive or cheap. Basically not getting little gifts, thoughtful gifts, right, that they used to get. And a lot of women cheat because they want better sex, right? And they basically, I would say the other thing is the type of cheating is when they don't get what they want over time. So if you want something, say from a trip, right? Say you want to come to Thailand and you want to go to the beach and you want to do these things. If you came here and you didn't do any of those things, you would start getting kind of like upset, like you didn't get what you planned, or you came here for this, you wanted it and you didn't get it, right? A lot of women, they even though they don't say anything, they have a lot of expectations in their mind. So they want a baby, they want a Mercedes, they want vacations, they want a house, they want commitment. Essentially, what they want is a fairy tale. And if they're not getting the fairy tale, they're going to start feeling like, this isn't fair. I mean, it's just a natural thing, right? They watch Disney movies. They're raised to think this, right? The guy, the pumpkin and the prince and all that stuff, right? So it's it's in girls' minds no matter if they like it or not, or regardless of their personality or anything like that. It's just kind of deep in there, right? It's like the fairy tale, right? Am I getting the fairy tale? So that's another reason why women would cheat is they say, I'm not getting what I want over time, right? And let's go with the time one. Another reason why women would cheat was if you fart too many times, right? And you didn't stay on constant alert to like be, like she wants to be the center of attention, right? She wants you to always like make her number one, right? So if you don't always make her number one, then she's going to slowly lose interest, right? The thing is it's such a catch-22 for guys because if you okay, so her expectations are one of them is that she wants you to make a lot of money, right, and to do well, to be a success, right? But the other one is that the other one is that she wants you to pay attention to her, right? So the thing is that if you're trying to do both, right, you're trying to earn big money, and then you're also trying to pay attention to her, make her number one. Those two things come in conflict, right? Because you go to work, you can't if you're trying to build a business, you're trying to work your ass off, work overtime. You can't make her number one, right? So it's like a catch-22. You can't really win on this one because it's just like, and the thing is when you confront girls with these things, they'll all laugh. Like they just laugh because they think, because they're like, yeah, that's how we are. That's how girls are. Right? And the thing is, it's not really funny for the guy because it's never pointed out in this way. So the guy kind of feels like he's not, I don't know, like he kind of isn't enough or something. He's not quite making it, If you think about your relationships here, long-term relationships, they all kind of go downhill. They start off very good and then they go downhill, right? Because even if this is what's really interesting is no matter how cool you are, no matter how rich you are, no matter how intelligent you are, no matter how good at game you are, no matter how many languages you speak, no matter how you can talk about anything, you have such an excellent vocabulary and you have so many interesting stories. They will all bore. They will tire of all these things, no matter what. So it's not you. It's like women will tire of you. So the thing is I think of it this way. Like some people in high school, they go in high school to the football team. They're like the captain of the football team, and kind of like in a sense, high school is like the peak of their life, right? It's like that's when they had the girls, they had the jacket, they had them. You know what I mean? They had that attention, and then from there they kind of go downhill. And if you meet them when they're older, they'll always talk about high school, right? Because that was the peak of their kind of like happiness, right? And other people they have different other times in their life. Everybody has a peak in your life, So I want to have my peak in the future, right? So I don't want to have it in the past. I'm looking for that peak coming up, success peak. I've had plenty of success, but I want to have more. I want to have. I believe the big one is still in front of me. But so on that same vein of you can have a peak and then come down. Women, no matter, I think like for example, if you have, let's say you have a small dick, right? And a girl says to you, she wants a bigger dick, right? And so you will think that you are not enough, right? You'll think, she wants a bigger dick. I can't, I don't have that, But if you had a big dick, right? What she'll say to you is it hurts. It's too long, it's too fat. It hurts. Over time. Now in the beginning, she's going to love it, right? And in fact, this is the thing in common is women that are complaining about anything like this, anything physical, you don't change physically, right? You're not going to change. Your dick's not going to get like huge over time. It's not going to get tiny over time, right? It's not going to change, right? It's exactly you're going to be the same, right? So the thing is, but this is the interesting thing. If she says that it's too small or she says it's too big, it hurts, right? What she's saying is that you peaked with her, right? So for example, I've had girls where I really, like in the very beginning, I really gave them a good fuck. Like we just had like insane sex where it was like super, super hot, like shit got broken, like it was really like 3 hours of sweating, like and screwing 5 times a day, and in crazy places, like with risky situations. And it was very, very, very exciting. But what I didn't realize at the time is that I was basically setting the bar at that level with her. So even if I was the best fuck she's ever had, right, then I was setting the bar on myself, right? So when you're 60 years old, you don't run as fast as you did when you're 18, right? So if you want to, break the records that you made in high school or in college, it's going to get harder and harder as time passes, right? Because you'll be older, right? It's not as easy, right? There's certain things you can do better when you're older than other things. Physical stuff, you're not going to do as well, right? So when you give a girl, like say a great fuck, is basically you're setting the bar that this is what she expects, okay? And if you don't fulfill it, it's kind of worse than if you didn't give her the good fuck in the beginning, because you might impress her at some point, because you did something pretty good. And she's like, oh, that was better than before. That was pretty cool. So it's all about how she feels. It's not even about the physical stuff, right? So she's basing it on feelings. And what guys are doing is they're listening to the logic. They're listening to the reason, right? They're like, oh, I'm not enough. Or, oh, I got to be careful. It's too long. Oh, I got to do this. I got to do this. It doesn't really matter. It's like this is the track of relationships don't last forever. Like relationship it's a thing that is not meant to last forever. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make everything last forever. And she's taking advantage of the fact that you are too like emotionally weak to leave her, right? So for me, what I've practiced over the years, I've really practiced this, is to be ready to walk away at any moment. And how I do it is actually a kind of funny way, and it really works. Is I like, say for example, like even on something as small as this, she goes to the bathroom, and then I just imagine to myself, okay, now what happens if that was actually not the bathroom, it was actually like a black hole, and she actually went into another part of the universe and she's gone, yeah, or there was a back door and she got sucked out, into some other place, and she never came out of the bathroom, right? I could sit there all day, all year, and she would never come back. So I always think to myself, well, what would I do today? Because here I am, I remember the first time I did that, I was at Disneyland, and this girl went into the bathroom, and I thought to myself, because I was getting good at being ready to leave at the right time, with girls, not pushing it. That's what most guys do, is they know it's dead. They look in her eyes, they know it's dead, but they keep trying to fulfill, trying to make it exciting again for her, right? But it's impossible. It's totally impossible. And it's from her side too. It's impossible. She can't change this kind of mind that she has, the nature that she has. It's just the only thing you can do is be ready to leave. That's all you can do, right? And so what I used to do is I'd practice, and I remember thinking like, okay, here I am with a girl I really like. We're at Disneyland, and we're like in a great mood and stuff. And then I said, well, what if she doesn't come out? And then I would like get into another mode. My mind would say, well, let's see. I probably wouldn't stay at Disneyland, or I would go over to that ride where there's a lot of girls, and I'd try to meet some girl, right, and get some numbers, or take it on some rides together, right, and start to kiss, and see what we can get going on in Disneyland. Because I've picked up girls at Disneyland before, and it's quite sexy actually. If you get like a hand job or a BJ or something after meeting the girl in Disneyland, it's something super hot about that. Trust me on that. It's very exciting actually. And there's a few places you can do it. Tom Sawyer's Island. There's a tunnel. And then it's what is the other one? There's a ride that's really good for getting a blowjob.
While you were on the ride?
Yeah, while you're on the ride, yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. And there's a ride that's really good for it. I just can't think of which one it was. It's got it's not the haunted house is good too. Haunted house is pretty good actually. Haunted house is not bad. But there's a better one. I forget the name of it though, damn it. Okay, so basically like, don't try. Okay, one, you don't want to try too hard to impress her in the beginning. I've actually found very bad results with that. If I really fuck a girl really good the first time, and again, this can't be controlled. I'm not saying I'm able to just suddenly decide I'm going to fuck a girl well. It kind of depends on so many things, even for me. Like, it depends on how she looks, what happens when I try to take her clothes off, what is going on in the environment at the moment, how I feel, how much sleep I got. There's so many things, and it's almost like art. It's not science, right? But sometimes you really do, just like an animal, you really can just give it to her, and it's just like so right, And she comes all over the place. She squirts, whatever it is that you really like. It works. But I've found many times that if I do that on the first date, I fuck her super good on the first time, is that they often don't come back. Because I guess they think I'm a playboy or something. Because I fucked him so good, like that never happened before. So they were like, "What in the fuck? This guy, like, he's like, I can't not control this guy. There's no way." So like, I'm just gonna like, I had a good time, but there's no way I can date this guy. This guy is not boyfriend material. That's when you fuck a girl really good, like really nasty, and it's like, it's like everything, like, I don't mean hard. I don't mean that. I mean like. It's just like the vibe is right. You're like melting like chocolate. It's working together like chocolate and milk melting together. You're just like it's just on. It's just so fucking on, right? and you can see her just like lighting up, you know. And if you do that, then you put yourself into, you know, like it's you don't want to be the provider, right? You want to be the one that's, you know, the sex. But if you're too much like that, I found that it's often, well, it depends. If you just want to screw them once, it's fine. That's totally fine because you have super hot sex. You do it once. But personally, whenever I sleep with a girl, I like to sleep with her more than once. I like to have like a little mini relationships, even if I have many girls at the same time. Still, I want her to come back. You know, I tend to have girls come. I want them to come once a week. I find if it goes 8-9 days, it's too long. It's once a week, boom, and they like it that way, once a week.
What about more like what twice a week?
Well, the problem is the more you meet her, we'll have to do another episode on this one.
Okay.
It's really important because it can work. You can definitely meet her more if you really like the girl. So if I have several girls, I'll meet most of them once a week, and then like my favorite one, I'll meet her twice a week, right? And maybe even sometimes 3 times a week, depending on the situation, you know, depending on what's going on. Like we're on holiday or, you know, something like that, you know. I might take her on weekends more than the other girls, and that's like 2 days, you know, maybe even 3 because you might leave Friday night, come back Sunday night, or even Monday morning sometimes. So, you know, go to the beach or something, you know. But the thing is that if you don't meet them enough, no matter how, you know, like good your chemistry is, you just drift away. And then actually this goes on to another thing. My pet peeve is this idea that you can have a long-term relationship. I mean, sorry, a distance relationship where you don't live in the same place. That's total BS to me. Complete BS. You are fooling yourself so bad if you think you're in a relationship with somebody you're not touching. It just is not true. It's just think about this, and then if you are in one, and if she decides to move away or she has to go for work, it's pretty much over, guys. It's over, and just let it be over. You know, don't try to put it on life support. Is what I'm saying. Like, go with the reality of life, right? Okay, so what most guys do is try to, for example, let's say the light in her eyes is going out. Okay, so let me think how long it usually takes to do that. When you first meet somebody and you have sex, it's obviously really awesome. And let's see, how long does it take to kind of slow down? It depends on the girl, really. It really depends on how much I feel for her. Because I think generally, for me at least, if I feel really strongly for her, if she feels strongly for me, it's like if she's my type, I'm her type. It just seems to work that way for me. I don't find girls where she's totally my type and I'm totally not her type. Like that just doesn't happen. Generally, I don't know. There's some kind of a syncing with that, you know. Where
maybe the girl feels
you know,
what you feel.
I think she is. She mirrors that, and she feels that I really do like get off on her, and so it doesn't really matter to me if she looks good in society's eyes. It's just if I get off on her, then I get off on her, and I think girls also appreciate that too, because I'm not trying to like compare to some magazine or something, right? I'm just like basically going with my feelings totally when it comes to this one. But okay, so what couples do is they read magazines, they watch TV to learn things that they can do to rekindle the flame. But what you should do is you should go out for a pack of smokes, which is my way of saying leave forever, right? It's like, honey, I got to go outside. You know, it's basically like if you feel it dying, if you look in her eyes and her eyes are getting dead, you know, like, you know, you whip down your pants and she's not excited anymore, right? It's not that you're not enough. It's not that because you've made her very happy for maybe even 5 years, who knows, but 10 years even. But it's like the fire in her is out. So you just have to like say I think you have to keep really in touch with how you feel and how she feels in order to call this one right. But this is the same reason why I don't like prostitutes. You know, a lot of guys will be happy to go to a sugar baby website, which I consider prostitutes, or you know, prostitutes like here in Thailand. There's a lot of prostitution. Yeah, tons, right? And also back in home, I know in the States, like that there's tons of prostitution now. There's a lot of apps now. Like a lot of my friends that I would never think were into prostitutions are actually doing it now.
Oh, cool. How much does it
And
cost?
I have no idea, but it's like a lot of money. I think it's just like a total waste of money. I mean, it's an insane waste of money because the thing is like with prostitutes, the reason why I don't like prostitutes is because when you look at a prostitute, the eyes, if you look in her eyes are dead because she's. I think of women, the femininity of women is something like it really is something like a flower. It's like it blooms for a short period of time. It's very beautiful and fragrant, but when it starts to die and dies, it like you can't make it come back. And a woman's like innocence or femininity can be crushed and ruined and never come back. Much like a guy's confidence could be crushed by certain things, right? A woman's femininity, her feminine nature, and so when where she really is damaged goods, she really is damaged, and when she's selling her body for money every day, she's being like trampled upon. I mean, the feelings that she has for giving her pussy to somebody for money and the things that they're going to say to her, the mean things they're going to say, and the way they're going to treat her, and also the fear she'll have of people, because obviously a lot of prostitutes get killed and or hit and beaten up, and all kinds of stuff happens, right? Not paid, like cheated. It's a very terrible profession, right? A way to make money, but every prostitute I've ever seen, the light is out in their eyes, and that's why I don't like prostitutes. It's not a moral thing. It's not like, oh, they're not beautiful or it's not morally right. No, it's none of that. If they had the light in their eyes, which is obviously totally impossible, but if they did, I would be fine with going to prostitutes, because it would be like, I'm getting, because to me that's where the juice is like when she really loves you, when she's really crazy about you. Like you say anything, you say Cheetos, right, and she starts laughing, right, because she's digging on you, right? She's totally digging on you, right? So over time, that kind of digging on you disappears, and so you have to. I think it's really super important to accept that, and just to be willing to leave it, and not to take it personally, and also not to take the things she tells you too seriously. So she might tell you you're a loser because you don't have this job, you don't have that, and or you don't, your dick's not big enough, or like you're not smart enough, or she might say any kind of mean thing to you, like just something stupid, like you have bad taste in clothes or anything that might hurt you, right? It's like she might say these things, but you just have to use. Part of being MGTOW to me is like you really man up in life, like you really accept reality at a super like deep level. So when she gets tired of me, I mean, it's like she's not really tired of me. She's just tired of this relationship. Like this would happen no matter who I was. I could be George Clooney. George Clooney's girlfriend's going to be tired of him. Trust me, 100%. No matter how excited everybody else is about him. If you ever know any celebrities, and I know quite a few, and you know their wives are not enraptured with them. They're not watching their movies and cheering, right? It's just like they're a wife, and they're just like, hey, I'm not going there. Like if you want that, go get a fan, right? I'm your wife, right? And it's like you come in the house, and it's like you don't even know he's famous, right? When you're standing in the house, because she doesn't treat him at all like that. She treats him, if anything, she treats him the opposite, trying to bring him down, because she knows how he's treated outside, right? And some stars actually like that, because it grounds them, it brings them down, right? So in other words, no matter who you are and what you do, you cannot keep the flame alive in the girl. And do not fucking believe the bullshit that society tells you that it's possible. It's just not fucking possible. It's just totally ridiculous. The idea that you can rekindle the flame. I mean, you might have one day when you fuck her and it's exciting, right? Just for whatever reason, it might be exciting one time, right? But that's just temporary thing. And it's even worse then, because if let's say the flame is dying in a relationship, and then you do something that's a really exciting day, right? Well, you subconsciously have seen this happen, right? And it's a bummer for you. It's a real bummer, right? And then when it kind of gets exciting again, your hopes will come way, way up, and then it just over the next day. Like it's just it never stays up. It's just like we're talking like a really like brutal thing, right? It's like you start to feel like, oh, it's going to be like before. Oh, it's going to be awesome, and then it's just like when it dies, it like lets you more down. It's like, oh, geez, that was short, and so don't try to prolong something, and instead is I'm almost like hyper alert for when things are dying, and when I do see it dying, I let it die a natural death, right? And then by that I mean I leave, we make sure that we break up, because I try to get them to break up with me. By the way, that'd be another episode, but yeah, but what I do is I just know it's over. It doesn't. There's no energy to put into it. There's no like need to think about like, did you do all these things she's saying, because it's a feeling, right? So if I try to impress you, let's say I'm telling you jokes, right, and you start laughing, right, and then I do that every day, jokes. What happens over time is no matter how funny the jokes are, you won't feel that funny, because it's just all the time, right? It's just like joke after joke, and no matter how hilarious they are, and if you told them individually to people, they'd be cracking up, right? Because it's absolutely a scream, right? But how you feel and how you react is different, just because it's been happening so many times, right? So if you see the same thing, if you see a sexy woman, you see a super sexy woman, and then you see her over and over and over and over and over and over. Eventually, she just doesn't have it for you, right? It's not exciting, right? You're looking for another look, another girl, right? A fresh one, right? It's the same. She feels that way, but not about how you look. She feels that about the relationship, about how you make her feel, right? When you look at her, she makes you feel horny, right? She's not looking at you, she's feeling you, right? And the feeling changes. So don't believe these things that they say, because when a woman is saying like, oh, he doesn't give me attention anymore, or, the guy might even actually be spending more time with her than before, but she doesn't feel like it's attention, right? Because it doesn't feel exciting, right? So you might be like a really great in bed. You might be great in sex, but she doesn't feel like you are, right? Because you've been with her so long, and it's just like it's dying, right? So how you feel and how you react to somebody is something that is not. It's not quantitative, right? It's not like, you know what I mean? Like if you fuck her 20 minutes longer, and in 30 positions more, that doesn't mean that it makes her feel any better. It might make her feel worse. I've had sex sometimes where we don't even do anything, like it's like, it wouldn't seem like it'd be exciting, but it's like super hot, right? So it's not about like, did you do this position? Did you do this long? It's like, that's not what makes it hot. What makes it hot is it's fucking hot, right? It's just fucking hot. And like, it's like every time is different. It might be hot for some weird reason even, just like whatever reason, Like I remember one time I just thought of this crazy one. Was I had this girl against the wall, and I was fucking her, right? And suddenly I felt this weird sensation on my balls, like really warm and everything. I looked down and there was like blood streaming. She got her period while we're having sex, and then the blood was it was coming down my balls, and like it was really warm and felt good. And then I was gonna quit, but I thought, no, I'm gonna finish, and then it was going all over the floor and everything, right? And then she looked at me, and she was super stoked, because most guys are very squeamish about blood and everything. And I was just grinding away, keep going, And then she goes something like, she said something funny like you're the kind of guy who doesn't finishes what he starts, or something like that. And then I started laughing, and I started fucking her super hard. And then she got super wet, and it was like, and then the blood actually stopped, because when you get super aroused, the blood stops, the blood flow stops temporarily, yeah, and then it comes back, right? So it would end up being super hot, actually, just because of this weird situation. But if I told you that's going to make sex hot, ruining your floor, with blood, is that you probably would say that's not true. But that's not how sex is. It's a weird thing, right? So, and even if I reenacted that, and if you even think about yourself, if a girl does something to you the first time, it can be super erotic. Or it's the first time you see some kind of clothes, right, you've never seen before. But But if she keeps wearing that same bra and panties every single time, you just don't feel it's erotic anymore, right? But the first time I remember the first time I saw a camisole, it just drove me insane. I was like, this is so fucking hot. And she had garter belt. I was like, oh my God, you know, this is way back, you know. And I was like, holy shit, that's so fucking sexy, you know. And but now, you know, it's like, you know, so sex is a feeling, and if you imagine, I guess this is how guys can think about it, is if you imagine how you feel about sex, how, you know, she does one position the first time. I remember the first time a girl did a reverse cowgirl on me. That was like super exciting, you know. It's like I could just see my dick going in her pussy, you know, her ass. It was just like a no face. I didn't have to emotionally think about her, you know, because it's just pure raw sex, right? And I remember the first time, that was, God, this is awesome. I thought, I'm going to do this every time, you know. I love this. But if I did it too many times, then I would be like, okay, all right, you know, maybe I wanted to look at her, you know, once in a while. I see her face, and then, you know, there's something that happens there, right? So everything is good, but it's in if you do it all the time, it gets boring, right? So she feels that way about everything about you. So it's not about that. It's about how she feels about you when you're in the kitchen, how much she feels about you when you're, you know, taking a shower, when you're walking over, you know, whatever. She's feeling you, and there's no way that you can, just like there's no way that she could make you like have your best sex ever every single time, because no matter what she does, you might not feel super erotic by her, right? And especially over time, give it 10 years, and she adds on some weight, and she's 10 years older. So that's the other issue that's at work, is like, just there's like nature at work, right? So like, you know, she's getting less attractive as she gets older, and naturally, right? And so you can't help that, right? Nobody gets sexier when they're 70 than they were when they were 16, right? It just doesn't fucking happen, right? Yeah, it just goes down. Yeah, it goes downhill.
Men sometimes.
Yeah, men can. Yeah, true. But yeah, they can. It depends on the situation. But there's a little bit of truth to that. But it's not as true as people say. No, there's something about youth that's sexy. You know, no question about it. And so for guys too, you know, that's why MILFs go for the young guy. You know, like a lot. You know, but so don't try to fight these things. You know, part of success in life and you know, controlling your own life and being MGTOW is that you just accept things. And where other guys don't have the balls, they don't have the balls to accept the way life is, and so they just stick with the girl, and they both pretend together they still feel the same way, but they don't. They can't. It's not possible. So there's basically don't get into a position where you're both pretending something, right? It's just ridiculous.
Is it impossible for the guy to feel it for a long time?
You mean to feel the same way for her? I think guys, we tire of them. It's true. Our feelings change, but I think guys don't run on feelings as much. You know, like we're like logical. We're like, yeah, we got the kids, we got the family, I got society, I got my wife here. You know, it's good enough, right? It's okay. You know, I think guys can stay in a relationship longer because as long as she makes you come, you know, she gets the sex part done. That's fine, and then the rest is not that. You know what I mean? It's not like I think guys can live, yeah, with a relationship easier than girls can long term. You know, in fact, I think guys can even get more fond of the woman over time. I think, in some ways, you know, because you see more about her and you like these other things about her. But there probably is a little bit of truth for guys too. But either way, this is not for women, so it doesn't matter. Basically, always just from our perspective, right?
Yeah.
Is that she's gonna tire of you, and it sucks. Okay, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's fun. I mean, it sucks, right? It's not. It's a very bad feeling. But whatever you do, don't believe the mean things she says, because it has nothing to do with those. Because if they did have something to do with those, then she wouldn't have been with you in the first place. Right? But she forgot how she felt about you. That's the thing. She when a woman changes her feelings, she can't remember how she felt before. So if you meet a girl and you fuck her it's really hot one time, and then say 10 years later, you say, remember that time when you came all over the place and and she'd be like, I don't really, it's like feelings are basically in the present moment, and we don't really remember how we felt about, eating this food the first time, or, how you felt about sex with him and that, or her in that, whatever certain time, whatever, and she'll start to, she judges her feelings based on how she feels today, right? And she doesn't feel turned on by you today. So she remembers the old times, probably is not that hot, and she starts thinking of new guys, right? So it's kind of natural to do that. But let's see here. Other things, pretty much got most of it. Yeah, it like this
Fuck.
this is pretty good. Women are going to cheat, and they cheat. This is the bright side of this, or the silver lining, is that if you see the light go on her eyes and you break it off, or you make sure that it gets broken off, it's very unusual actually. Most guys, they just keep riding the dead horse. It's dead, it's dead, and the guy just keeps moving forward, just keeps trying, and he keeps playing his games. And women are just disgusted by that actually, because it's over, right? Like when they fuck the next guy, like when they cheat on you, they're gonna fuck his brains out, right? Partly out of anger at you, just for being like that. Just for being like that, they fucking hate it. So when you get more in tune with the woman, which is what you're doing, is she will like, she knows that you're more in touch with women. Like now with all the things I've learned, like women know I'm very in touch with how they feel, and they like that actually. So even though she doesn't like the fact the relationship ends, she does know it. It is over. She knows we could stay together for another 20 years and 30 years or the rest of our life if we wanted to, physically, right? But she knows that it's dead. She knows. And really, women are pretty good at accepting reality in some ways, So I think when you see the light going out, when you see the excitement fading, you should make your exit plan, basically. And quick. Like, there's no reason to waste too much time here. I'm talking like 3 days or whatever. Think about it and then get it. Move your way out, because it is truly over. It is truly over. And she could be a really nice person, and she could like be trying to feel it for you. You know what I mean? Like she wants to keep you for another reason, like for whatever she wants to not look bad in society's eyes, or she doesn't want to get divorced and all the trouble that goes with that, getting your own apartment. But in the end, it's the best thing. It's the absolute best thing. Is just to call it dead. You know it's dead, and don't tell her. Don't tell her what you just see it and then react. Just see it, react, get out, and she'll be very grateful actually that you didn't drag her through that last 6 months, a year, where you guys are just trying to like. It's like trying to bring a dead animal to life. I mean, the animal's freaking dead, right? He ain't coming back, right? And you're sitting there going, you're looking at it like, he's gonna come back, he'll come back, and it's like he's just sitting there on the ground, wake up in the morning, you see him dead there, still dead, right? It's dead. It's freaking dead. So start spotting that deadness and avoiding it. And I also avoid women who are just dead from the beginning. Because some women are just dead inside.
Usually older.
Yeah, usually like older. I remember the first one.
Flower, the femininity flower.
Right, I remember the first one I saw. There was a normal girl who was like that. And she was 37. She looked young for her age, and I was mid-20s, and I was with sleeping with her, and she just was dead. It was like she was just, I don't know why she was dead. Something, maybe her life wasn't fulfilling her, or she knew I wouldn't stay with her, and she lived with her mom, and here she is coming on 40, and like the sex didn't matter to her. She wasn't like the super horny type. Like it didn't matter if it was good or bad to her. It's like whatever, it didn't matter. Because maybe she had slept around a lot, and so she just didn't really, it didn't get her that exciting. And then nothing really got her excited. I remember just seeing that kind of deadness in her eyes, and then I kind of like went away because I had these other girls who were super fucking like bubbly and super genki, Japanese. They're just super like full of life, right? Full of life, and I gravitate towards that, right? I gravitate towards life. That's what I'm saying. Like I remember when I moved to Japan. Japan was the most exciting place to be at that time. It was like the bubble was going on. It was super exciting. And when I moved to China, China was like so exciting. It was coming up, you know. And I groove on that. I groove on that energy, on that like optimism and energy, right? And this is why I just despise the dead eyes, the dead feeling, you know. So it could be because she's a prostitute, so it was literally beaten out of her, you know, just every day, just monotonous, you know, just like doing what she doesn't want to do every day, and guys looking down on her and being treated like a piece of, you know, terrible, right? Is this terrible feeling, right? You know, can you even imagine being a prostitute, a girl prostitute? You'd be so scared every time you go in a closed door. You know, might be murdered. You know, they're going to call you all kinds of terrible names. And here you were treated like a princess growing up, and here you are just like the exact opposite, the lowest of the low every day, every day. You never know what's next. Like, so, and if someone's like super nice to you, it's almost worse, you know, a prostitute, because it's going to be over in another few hours, right? So like you meet somebody super nice, and then it's just like you get really attached. I'm sure a girl, even a prostitute in the beginning, she would get attached to somebody who was very special. She might even think, God, why didn't I meet this guy when I wasn't a prostitute? You know, this kind of guy. But then it's like, oh, then she gets even dead to that, where she's dead to everything. You know, it's like because nothing lasts, nothing's real. It's just all bullshit. It's just for money. You know, so it's just like, how much money can I get from the guys, right? And, you know, if I have to steal money, or you know, how much can I, you know, get from the guy? So that deadness. So that could be the type of deadness. It could be a girl with a dead end life who's dead. Or it could be the fact that you're together with her too long, and then it's starting to die a natural death. Your relationship is almost like, you know, we're born, and then we grow, and then we you know, live, and then we slowly die, right? And that's the way life is, right? Relationships are very similar as life itself, you know, except for I think that people just don't accept relationships dying. And I doubt that in the old days, I doubt that the natural human was like staying together no matter what, right? But now we somehow think in this age that we're supposed to stay with people forever, and it's supposed to last. That's why they try to rekindle it, because they think, well, other people do it. But the truth is, you guys, most guys are faking it. They're just totally faking their whole life. They're faking it. They're pretending like they're horny. They're pretending like they love their wife. They don't love her anymore. She doesn't love him, you know. And it's like he hates his job. Most guys hate their job, you know. They wanted to do it one time, right? They wanted to like race cars, or they wanted to, you know, be a fireman or whatever. But you know, it's like, how long can that feeling last, right? So the thing is, like, for me, it's like is to listen to that inner voice. I listen to that inner voice myself, and I'll switch jobs, I'll switch careers, I'll switch, and I'll also allow the girl to leave. And this will what this practice is, it becomes a discipline. So if you lift weights, right, you tear up your arms and then they get stronger, right? And same with your legs, whatever, your muscles, right? But if you get used to accepting reality and accepting the impermanence of feelings and even satisfaction and excitement, it's like if you accept it, then you start to you start to see life with different glasses. And then you start to look for people that are actually doing things they like to do and having fun and like really enjoying their life, you know. But these people are pretty rare and extreme, you know, to find people who are really living like this, you know. And so, but I live like this, and I always want to live like this, you know. And so I'm always looking because if it's dying, hey baby, it's dying. You know, what am I going to do? I can't, you know. And I'm just like, because I'm confident I'm going to get something else, or I'm going to find some other comfortable situation that's going to be just fine. Because living and faking it and lying to myself, that's no solution. That's no happiness there, you know. And you know, you don't need to have a relationship either, you know. Like you're totally fine on your own too, you know. And so that's what I would say is like why women cheat is they cheat because of all the nature of life, essentially, right? And why guys don't like accept this and just try to fake it, I just don't understand. Like, don't do it. Don't cheat yourself. You know, you can live an exciting life and have a very I think the reason why guys use Viagra and stuff like that this is fucking true, is because it's because they're not staying in touch with themselves. right? If you stay in touch with yourself, you'll be able to get a hard on like way into your late years, because you're not, you can't fake your dick, right? So that's why they have to use Viagra. They have to use something because they can't fake it.
Yeah, then it's just low testosterone.
I'm sure there's physical problems that could happen that would be cause that too. But I mean, if you, I don't think so. I don't think it's low. I'm not a doctor, but I think it's mostly here. I think the ability to have fantasies, to have rich fantasy life, the ability to stay in touch with what really does turn you on, regardless of where that takes you, it doesn't matter what society thinks. It's like wherever that takes you, where you feel excited, if you stay in touch with that, and then you will be a very rare lover for the girls too, because you're this guy who's like, like he's completely in touch with this with
Awesome.
like whatever that kind of that aura is, that life, that and I think that draws everybody, and I think it draws the girls in, and I think, yeah, when I know, yeah, that's basically it. So there you go. So don't feel bad. It's life itself. Look for these things. Look for her eyes. Look for her not to be interested in you, right? Look for it, because it's going to be there. You're going to see it, and then you'll be like, okay, just like Ronin Man said, there she is. She's dying, but that's okay. What am I going to do? Do I want to continue on this route of like the dead horse on the ground, we're both pretending like we're having such a great time, such a great life, or am I going to go out and find some new stuff going on, new things to do, new girls? And what happens is you end up finding a new sexy girl and giving her a great bone, and you think, what the fuck was I thinking with that girl who was so dead, and here I am just ramming this girl in my car, and it's so sexy, and she's so happy, and I'm so happy. And it's like, damn, the answer is so simple, right? So simple. And other times you might have a period where you're alone for a while, and you focus on improving yourself.
And you're a monk.
Yeah, exactly. Where you focus on other different things, that fulfill you as a man, right? Which is like success and creation and solitude. There's other things that you can do that are awesome, besides just besides just girls, So there you go, Ronin Man. Why women cheat and why you should be ready, and don't go, because okay, let me lay one last thing. Is if you ignore these things, what happens is then she will cheat on you. If you leave when you start seeing her the dead in her eyes, that's when she does it. That's when she does it, and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt, and there's no reason for it, because you knew it was dead. What were you thinking, staying with her, right? It's like almost your fault. Like you're forcing her to be so bored and hate you so much that she's looking for something else, right? So don't do that to yourself. Don't do it to her either, but don't do it to yourself. So there you go. It's a heavy thing. I'd love to hear comments. I'm really enjoying the comments everybody's saying about the last few ones about just pussy and just the getting pregnant and stuff. You guys are awesome. So thanks for listening. Subscribe to the channel, hit that button, and share it around. Thanks for being there. Appreciate it.